and I'll answer them. They may not be the answer. There is no the answer. The answer is always 4. As long as you get there, that's all that matters, right? So, I mean, your way might be different than my way, but if you get the answer is 4, and I gave you the answer up front, you know when you've arrived, right? So.
Right.
All right, so we're going to start, obviously, always with the overarm, underarm exercise. I'm in the overhand position. Gerald's in the underhand position. He rolls up and drills in forward. I meet this energy. Focus drilling in. He's drilling towards me. I'm drilling towards him. We don't go out here because then there's no resistance. He doesn't find the resistance. He can go straight in, right? There's nothing to stop him. I don't want to get too much resistance where he can't even lift his arms, and then that ain't going to work, right? So this is a mutual exercise. The person in the overhand position controls the severity. I say the severity is because you can bring your elbows in closer. You know, as I bring my elbows in closer, it makes it harder for him to raise and lower his arms, right? So I can bring him in here really tight. It's hard to raise him up. So we just enough forward energy to meet each other, and not enough to where he's just blowing you over or vice versa, all right? And then for a number of reps, and then you switch. Okay, you switch. That falling forward thing is the thing you want to get. That's subconscious. I wasn't paying attention consciously, but subconsciously my body was. I fell forward into it. So drilling in. That wasn't a misstep. That was, I meant to do that. Kids would say, I meant to do that. But really, that is what you're supposed to do. Now, this exercise, a lot of people do this exercise now, but Jesse Glover developed this exercise. Everybody knows Jesse was Bruce's first student, bar none, in the discussion. This first guy Bruce ever taught, period.
That's a good history right there.
So that's the overarm, underarm exercise. Then we can go into alternating roll. Right hand, Gerald's right hand is in the underhand position. My left hand is in the overhand position or Fuchs out position. And then my right hand is in the Tan's out position. Gerald's left hand is in the Fuchs out position. And then we alternate roll, right? So we're drilling back and forth. I'm sorry, I started sticking. Just out of habit, I started to stick. We're just gonna roll right now. Consciously, you have to remember to roll. Now, if my hands drop away, that's where you should be. All right? So you should not. This is still here. So if this is here, and there's nothing here, right? Here, nothing there, bang. Nothing there, bang. Right? So you want not enough energy against each other, but enough to feel what he's doing and negate. Right. Boom. What happened there was this. I crossed the center line, to the veg, lop south, trap, back fist. Oh, another thing, when he does a trap, do it again. Here, if you see somebody, they do a trap and the person's arms are like this, okay, he's trapped for a split second, but in my opinion, and this is my opinion, you can disagree if you want to, he's not really trapped. No. He's not really trapped because this hand's still free. Now he's trapped for a split second. He's got both hands trapped, both hands pinned. I can't do this. I can get out of this. There are ways to get out of this, but you better have that ingrained in your system and through practice. This is what I call the chessboard because we begin both in this position here, down the lower position. We're both here in this position. This is a chessboard. You know, it's the same pieces set up on both sides. The only thing that we want with this is I'm trying to get to a position where I can touch Gerald with either hand at any time, and Gerald's trying to do the same thing with me. So that's what you're looking for. So this is a fair fight. We don't want the fair fight. He don't want the fair fight. He wants, you go ahead. Gerald doesn't want the fair fight. Good, right there. Okay, now, this position, The guys, people train me, I call this the stupid trap. The reason I call it the stupid trap is the reason. Okay, I'm trapped, both my arms are trapped. But I call it the stupid trap because in order to get out of it, this is all I have to do. But we don't think that way. We're in this position, and Daryl's pushing down with his top hand, he's punching him with the other hand, right? And so you feel this pressure, both arms are tied up, but I feel pressure from my arm, from my right arm, over, which is over my left, and my left arm is on my left is on his right, and pushing down with his, pulling down here with his hand. So I'm feeling pressure on both arms. So we think both arms are trapped, but they're not. That's all you have to do.
So there's someone that's saying, are you training self-defense?
Yes. Yes. Okay. You see a lot of guys, they'll do against a right lead, and seriously, we're just here today. But against the right lead, you'll see typical thing that people do. They won't be this close, because really, all talk should have stopped at this point. Because at any time, Daryl could touch me with either hand, I could touch him with either hand. So there shouldn't have been any talking at this point. You should be engaged. If you're going to be engaged, you shouldn't. Outside of kill range, which is more than a leg length plus 3 inches, you can continue to talk. But if I'm moving this way and Daryl, he turns, you got to engage. You got to engage because he's tracking you. All right. Now when we're talking about self-defense, if this were a right lead and we were doing sticking, like okay, from here we'll do. What is that? From a sticking point, I was this. We're rolling as he curl up, boom, back fist to the head. Right. If he blocks that back fist, roll back fist, continue. Okay. So how does that work with a technique? All that was here. This is rolling up. This is like Pak Chow. We do that. That's what we're doing. So, now, one way to learn to do this is to press down from the Fuk Chow and back fist. Bang. That's the easiest way. That's where Jesse would start to teach you how to do back fist from the sticking. Bang. So, roll, 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 bang. Okay? But later on you'll find out once your body gets accustomed to pressure that if somebody presses down, that's not what you want to do. You're pressing down from the Fuk Chow position. When you're pressing down. I'm not pressing. That happens. Somebody presses down, you don't let that happen. Now, let's turn this up this way. Now, you should use your whole body when you're tracking. My arm is over his arm, I'm pulling him in here, I'm holding this arm, I'm striking here. But you don't stay here and pose. You strike, get him off you, and keep going. So, as far as technique, okay, so same thing under the arm. We were here, boom. What did I do? It was here, Pak Chow, straight to, so here, if the arm's up too high, I can't get to the head. I could, but it's easier to go to the body. Roll to the back fist. Again, if he blocks that hand, locks out. Back. Okay. Right. And again, this is the chessboard. It can be reversed, right? Daryl just reversed it on me. I'm sorry, yeah, let's go here. We're here, boom, he blocked, and I did this. Now we're back on the chessboard again. Everything's equal, right? He actually has the advantage right here. He's on the center arm off. All right? He pressed down with his lead hand. Press down. Now he's got both hands trapped. Boom. He can finish up with multiple straight punches. What you're trying not to do when you hit somebody with straight punches is hit him in the mouth. You'll cut your hand. If you hit him in the mouth accidentally, that's okay. But chances are you're gonna cut your hand and get your hand infected, and that can be pretty rough and pretty messy. Develop sepsis or something like that, and you're gonna need to seek medical attention at that point. So if you're gonna strike anybody in the head, you should aim for the side of the head, here, down, through the jaw. all right? So what you notice when I'm doing this stuff, I'm not going like against the right leg. I'm not going here to the front of the face. I'm going to the side of the head, all right? I'm going to the body and then maybe to the head. And I'm trying to, at the same time, if we're here, I do this and he reacts whatever, boom, I'm trying to roll and get to the other side. What does it do? It does a lot of things. Number one, remember I said we want to be able to touch your opponent at any time with either hand, but we don't want the same fair fight with him. In order to get to me with both hands, Gerald's got to turn or pivot or something. He's not going to be able to hit me unless he spins. If he spins all the way around, there's an answer for that. If he comes back with the other way, there's an answer for that. Okay. So, as far as, I don't talk about kicking that much because most of the kicks in non-classical, there's only two. And I'll relate a story when Daryl and I went to Seattle, when about Daryl asked Jesse about the kicks. You want to go with that? Okay.
Nice try.
So Jesse said there were two kicks in non-classical. I'm not a kick, well, three, but he said two, front and side. There's sometimes kick to the back, but for the most part, it's the front to the side. And the story was good for us as far as memory goes, because number one, it came from Jesse. That was the source of non-classical, right? But we were sitting around, we were about to train with Jesse that day, run around Seattle. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And we had to leave that morning to be at the airport. And we were all dog tired. Jesse was still there talking with us, going over stuff in the room. We were just sitting around, occasionally drifting off to this quick nap, right? But Daryl asked me, he said, what kind of kicks are in the system? He told him. So Jesse got up, he was half asleep. And he says, well, there's blah, blah, blah kicks in the system, right? And he goes, he gets up slowly, he goes, pop, pop, and he sat back down. That, pop, pop, that would, his jeans cracked the air when he kicked. That's how fast and how powerful he kicked. And he sat back down and we just were in awe. It was like somebody gave us a shot of coffee and Coca-Cola. It was a Boilermaker, right? We were up, we were wide awake from then on. Jesse wasn't, but we were, from what we just saw and witnessed. And that's what I try to impart to the guys. I try, it's always my interpretation of what I got from them, and Daryl or Fernando's interpretation of what they got from them, because we're all trying to, as one of my students, Jim, says all the time, describe that elephant, right, in the room. So that's why I ask them, you'll see me ask the guys from time to time, what they got from it, what they got from them. And that's what it is. But any other questions about that? So the technique, I try to focus on technique from sticking, like we're here just rolling. You can do like the oh shit block. I want you to do it. Okay, so here. Oh shit is we're just throwing our fingers at the guy's eye. He's just throwing his arm up to protect himself. Or we're answering the phone. If I force Daryl to throw back fist by pressing this way, I'm answering the phone. You don't answer the phone out here to pay the phone's for you or out here. When you answer the phone, you're here. Now when I answer the phone, I am opening up something here. So if I'm forcing him to throw it back, he answers the phone. See? Now I'm open. We turn here. He's on the inside with his hand. Let's turn this way. You can see he's on the inside now. He was here. And he answered the phone, he's here on the inside. You can attack the body. So again, I press this here, I'm here, I'm there, right? Now some people will say, well, you can do, there's a lot of answers. Like I said, this is not the only answer for, I'm sorry, I start rolling, start feeling over and I go. It's not the only answer. There's other ways to open someone up and sticking. Turn. One hand here. So when I pivot, he's still here. Bang. So you can turn, hook to open this up in there, right? Jesse was good at just coming down and bang. At the same time, he's still controlling this and other things. I mean, he could hit you with so many different angles with a back fist. You know, it's just ridiculous. And the same with Jim and Ed. When Ed Hart would stick hands, it was different, because they were all different individuals, right? But when Ed would stick hands with me, it was always tight. He was always inside. As soon as he touched your arms, he was here, because most people are here, it was here, always here, it's right here. It's a crazy feeling to have somebody that's always in on you and drilling forward in a tighter, compact circle. And they're all those guys that I train with, Ed, Jesse, Jim, and now Leroy, they all brought something to the table. And I'm grateful to have known them and still in touch with Leroy and still learning from all those guys. I was looking at an old video, a DVD of Jesse and learning stuff from the video that's on YouTube from 1977, that video. I was 22 years old then, I'm 68 now. So that's quite a bit ago. I mean, some of you might even be that old. Wow, that's long before I was born. But I'm looking at that thinking, okay, here I am with Jesse, and I'm still looking at this stuff and seeing things that I didn't see before. They were there, but I get a chance to look at it a little differently. So any other questions, just feel free, and we'll just continue to roll. Now, with what we do with non-classical, when I look down at Daryl's feet for a split second, everybody else, when you're in classical Wing Chun, they'll do this. And I'm not a classical person, but I know they do the Kim Yu Ma stance, right? The stance sort of like this. I'm not a Wing Chun guy, so this is this way, but I was always taught to put your power side forward. If you're right-handed, put your right foot forward. If you're left-handed, put your left foot forward. Usually most left-handed people are ambidextrous, but they prefer to have your power side forward, because here's the thing that Jesse would say about that. He said this thing about, because Jesse liked Westerns. He said, you see these things with cowboys with two guns and they're thinking pow, 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 pow. He said, no, it didn't work that way. It was like pow, 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 pow. If I got a third one back here, put it in your right hand, because you're more adept to using your power side, right, than you are your non-power side. This is your dominant side. If you, like in the hospital, if I'm going to start an IV on somebody, right, and I work in a hospital, if I'm going to start an IV on somebody, I usually ask them, are you right-handed or left-handed? The reason is the dominant side is going to be more developed. It's just going to be, it's natural. So why would you try to, he said, Jesse said, you're never train this hand to be as good as this hand. So why not use that to initiate everything? And this is the backup. You still attack with this one, but this is just the backup. Okay. So if there are any questions, and feel free. Maybe I put my I left it over there.
You need it?
No, I just want to know what time it is. That's all. We're good. Okay.
You have any further?
No, I'm good. Jeremy wants to get off camera for a second, so I can go ahead and do this. Go ahead and ask him. You can go ahead and ask me anything, right now, because this is one of those Saturdays where we had just a few people show up, which is cool. I was hoping to see some other people show up today, but they didn't. That's cool. But I'm here every Saturday to teach power source martial arts, and again, I teach non-classical Gung Fu, and I'm trying to do my best to continue on with what I was given by those guys, Jesse, Ed, Jim, and Leroy, and what they got from Bruce, the way it was given to them. And again, this is only my interpretation of it.
So Ruthie's saying, what if an attacker has a knife?
If they have a knife,
Yep.
first thing you do is do what they want you to do. You know.
So what does that mean?
That means give them their money. But in order, see, unless you're a trained martial artist, you know. Okay, here's the thing. With a knife, even if you are a trained martial artist, the first thing you need to understand is you should expect to get cut. Mm-hmm. Right? Because, you know, you can get hurt by accident.
Yep.
Right? We're not looking to get hurt. But if someone has a knife, unless you can, I'm not saying, you know, just give up, but you can replace the dollars.
Yeah.
But if your life is threatened, here's the thing we talked about before. Daryl just simulated with a pen just a second ago. If we're out here, where he's way out there, he can't reach me with the knife from there. So I can give him what he wants, I can toss it. But if we're in here and the weapon's on me, it's almost over. Because I'm saying that I can go from here to here, or here to here, and try to stop that knife before he could just. So I got from here to there. Okay, so number one, don't get in that range. Mm-hmm. You know, put something between you and that person. You know, if at all possible. You know, equalize something. Pick up something that you can use, right? That's going to give you equal. You know, they're gonna think twice. They'll say, you know, he has a knife, and all you have are your keys. If your keys are on something like this, you can use it as a mace and swing it. But now you've kind of equalized it. You know, you may not hit something, but again, you got more than one thing hitting a weapon, a target, right? So I'm not saying that's the be-all, end-all. There is no be-all, end-all. If you walk away, that's it. That's what you're supposed to do. So if you can get away by just complying, but if your life is in danger, you got no other choice. You attack. And you try to hurt him. If the guy can't see, he can't fight. So you got to make sure you immobilize that weapon, somehow get it out of the way so it can't hit you, and try and hit him in the eye with a finger jab, a key, or something like that, and get out of there. Because then he's got to catch up with you, but he's also in pain for something else. They don't expect you to attack, but you know, you let them walk up on you, or you're unaware, then you know you're already behind the game. You're already behind. The chessboard is already against you, right? But it's not saying it's that you should give up. Now, I'm just saying to be on the safe side. If it's just a couple of dollars, give them a couple of dollars. But if they want to take it past that point, then you need to attack because you know you're already threatened anyway. Yeah. But don't expect to get out of there without a scratch. The deal is to try and protect throat, eyes, sensitive areas. You don't want to present the inside of your forearms or here, because you know you get cut here, you get cut here, get cut here, bleed out, you're gone. Stab in and up, you're gone, right? The other thing is dealing with weapons. You know, shock value. You're in shock because someone just presented a weapon to you. Right? And you're wondering, okay, will my training hold up? Right? So you don't know that, but you got to think past that too. In my mind, you have to think past that. Think, okay, well, I want to go home. This is preventing me from going home. I see myself going home. I can't play with this. Jess used to say, the guy tells me he's going to kick his ass, you take him at his word. In other words, like I said before, when we're in a close where Daryl can touch me or I can touch him, all talking should stop. You should be fully aware of what's going on around you then. Mm-hmm. If it's more than one person, you better maneuver them so they got one guy has to get around, one person has to get around another person in order for them to get to you. But you need to get out of there as quickly as possible.
True.
Okay. All right. And if you know, and you want to do as much damage as you can. Yeah, so you can get out of it, because you want shock value when you're doing this, all right? And you know, if you can't see, and I say if you can't see, if you poke somebody in the eye, You don't have to try and rupture the eyeball, but just, accidentally fingers in the eye, that stops, because someone throws a finger at your face for a split second, you're like this, but if they actually make contact with your eye, you're gonna stop. Or the throat, but the eye is definitely, because you can't, okay, how much you exercise, you can't develop muscles to protect your eye.
True.
Okay. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, she said, thank you, Michael.
Okay, it's not the only answer, it's an answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Any other questions about anything?
How many hours a day should you be practicing?
That's up to you. That's up to you. I mean,
But like a recommendation
Recommended,
from
you know-
your own teachers.
oh, okay, now see, when you're younger, you have time and, it's like going to the gym. You want to do
There
this
you
more
go.
often, right?
Right?
There was a period of time when I trained 7 days a week, at least 45 minutes or more a day, right? And that was just, push-ups, sit-ups, skipping rope, that, not including the gung fu. But you should always be doing something. If you're punching, punching in the air, punching on a mitt, if you have somebody you can work with, or punching against something, but you want to drill these things in so that they become reflexive. And the only way you do that is just like, the only way you do that, there's only one answer to that: repetition. Repetition. So how many times a day do you practice? Again, I say it's up to the person, because it depends on what you want out of it. It really does. And as you get older, you may say, well, I don't practice as much as I used to, but hopefully you've done enough where it's reflexive. I mean, there have been times when somebody would turn around and surprise me, and, I'll shoot the finger that way or something like that because I was surprised. But I wasn't practicing that all day. I wouldn't say standing there looking in the mirror. But I did start out that way. You do that type of stuff. You do that, I'm gonna go from here to here or something, and check, it was starting to ramble, but I want to stay focused. I was gonna say, Ed would practice in front of a mirror. And you don't want to have any giveaway. Mike Lee, not me, just his brother Mike, who was as good, if not better than Bruce with certain things, practiced in front of a mirror. Practiced with different exercises and drills that he developed that increases skill and decreases reaction time to something, okay? So you want to do that type of stuff. Are you going to be an Olympic athlete? But can you get better than you were at the beginning? Yes. Doing anything repetitively, your job, math skills, writing skills, anything you do repetitively, you're going to develop some sort of skill in it. And even if you're doing it wrong, you're going to develop some sort of skill. You may not be right as often, but you're still wrong. So watch when I say even if you're doing it wrong, because you should be looking at that and getting feedback from yourself and from other people, right? Like I said, the answer's 4. Well, how do you get to 4? Right? It's 2 plus 2, 5 minus 1, 6 minus 2. What? The answer's still 4. But practice, if you're gonna do this stuff, practice at least, I'd say an hour, at least an hour to get started. But oh wow, that's a lot. Well yeah, it is. But initially you'll start doing this and it'll become second nature. And then eventually you'll do different things. Like you may just practice one technique for a while. And when I practice, I say it now because when I do something, I'll just say I want to work on throwing a punch. I may just practice throwing a big punch from here, with my hand here, stepping out. Or my hand here by my side and stepping in and throwing a punch. Or my hand here and throwing a punch. Why I would practice those different positions? Because I don't know where my hand's gonna be, but I wanna get used to throwing the punch. I wanna get used to throwing my hand out there. I wanna get used to dropping my weight into the punch, you know? So whatever your weight, that's one of the things that Jesse taught Jim and Ed is dropping your weight into the punch, right? So whatever you weigh, as long as you're like, at any substantial weight to you, and most people do, even if you're a baby, as Dempsey states in his book, Championship Fighting, you know, you can still knock out a trucker, right? So practice consistently, picks up. The other thing is, what do you want to practice? You can't practice it all, but you need some core techniques. I'm thinking back to when I paused it for a second, I'm thinking back to what Jesse said, Ed, Jim, Leroy, you know.
She's
and
asking, can you demonstrate the big punch?
There's nobody for me to, okay, so there's a few ways to demonstrate the big punch. Hey,
Sensei in here?
no, he hasn't been here. Yeah, no, he's at the tournament, I believe.
Okay.
Right. That was someone came by looking for Sensei Andre Campos, who's the owner and operator of Power Source where I teach. So if you're not interested in non-classical, they have other curriculum here also. He teaches judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Andre Campos is here, but he was born and raised in Brazil. So he come in here, it's a very nice, spacious dojo to come and learn that and other arts. But back to the big punch. You know, Jesse developed the big punch based upon Floyd Patterson's Gazelle Punch. That's what the big punch is based on. And he thought about it and about different things. He said in his third book, New Non-Classical Gung Fu, that people have an aversion to poking somebody in the eye, but they don't have a problem with knocking people out. So he based his system on, okay, I'm going to teach people this. The sticking techniques are just so that once you make contact with somebody, you know exactly where they are and what you need to do, right? And you don't have to think about it, right? So, or as I say, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? Because I say your lying eyes because by the time you look at it, tell your brain and it registers to do something, it's too late. It's too late. You need to react. The big punch again, so you pick your weight up, drop your weight down before your foot hits the ground. You don't want to throw this where it's like people do the Superman punch where you're here, this leg's here. Your power side is still here. You're punching with your power side, but the leg is back here. You want to step into it like you're pitching. If you watch a major league pitcher throwing, they pretty much throw through that motion, okay? So again, you could be here and throw this way. You could be here and throw it this way. And Jesse would practice those different ways. And I'm not pronating my fist. There's a time to pronate the fist. Some people pronate the fist. But all the punches that I saw Jesse do were doing this punch. He used a vertical fist. There's different versions of that punch that Jim DeMille calls his the converging energy punch. There's a way of doing it where you're pushing off that Ed would do. You're just pushing, your right foot or right leg is forward and just pushing off and lunging in here. So you can practice it that way. Here, bang. And you're throwing this out. And again, you're trying to land with these three knuckles. You know, you can land the bottom three knuckles. Think of landing with the ring finger first, all right? So you get a three knuckle landing. Again, we're not trying to hit the person in the mouth or here, we're trying to hit them on the side of the head, all right? Because again, if they're here and you hit them in the face front on, okay, you can touch me, I can touch you. But if you hit me here, my weapons are turned away from you, you're on me. I did this in profile so you can see what I'm talking about. In order for me to hit you, I gotta turn to you, right? But if you throw me off balance, trapping my arms, and hit me at the same time, and keeping me off balance, then that's what you want. Do your damage and get out of it. You know, and don't pose for the paparazzi. You know, when you're done, and you get out of there. You gotta stay safe. I hope that answers your question. I don't have a mitt or someone to hold a mitt for me to do the big punch, but the big punch is one of the things we teach here. And there are different ways of getting your weighted to the punch. One is to step through. One is to leap. With all of them, though, you want to land the punch a split second before your foot hits the ground.
Okay.
A split second before your foot hits the ground. One of the students I have here at Power Shorts, the person who hits the hardest is about Jovi's height and a female. And she hits harder than any of the guys I've ever trained. She hits harder than Daryl was standing. Daryl hits the second hardest. The reason I say Michelle hits harder than Daryl is because when Daryl hits or Fernando hits, I'll feel it from my hand to my shoulder. Michelle hits, and she doesn't weigh anywhere near what they weigh, right? Yeah, I'll be PC and not give a woman's weight. But she's nowhere near that size. Nowhere near. She's a woman. She's a petite woman. Okay? She hits, but I feel it in my spine. That's how much shock she puts into the punch. And she didn't like the big punch, but one day we were here at the dojo. It was actually at this location, and she showed up for class. So we spent the next hour just working on the big punch and developing different ways for her to close it. And she got to a point where she can leap in the air, spin, and hit you with the big punch, and you feel it in your spine. The shock travels from your arm straight to your spine.
Oh, wow.
So no doubt she's gonna knock somebody out if she hits it. And you can hit that person with your palm or your fist. All right? Your palm, if you're gonna hit them in the face, palm is easier because a lot of things can happen with the palm. You hit them with the palm, you can cover more area. Also, a thumb could accidentally catch the eye. Thumb can accidentally catch the eye. And this is one of those things that hurt, you get hurt by accident.
Right.
Okay, so but again, Jesse said on one of the DVDs he had where he was with Wolfgang, I think they were in Switzerland, and Oliver, he's talking about the big punch, and he says like 4 ways to get power into punch. A good reference point, if you're not able to come down here and work with us, order Jack Dempsey's book, Championship Fighting. You can get it on Amazon. And he talks about the falling step and getting power into a punch. That's a good book to read on boxing and developing power punch.
What's the name of the book again?
Championship Fighting.
Okay.
By Jack Dempsey.
Okay.
All right, it's in paperback now. So I think it's less than $20. So that's well worth, because there are a lot of things that are taught in that book that they don't teach in boxing anymore. Okay. And Jack Dempsey was is one of the guys that Mike Tyson idolized when he was studying and learning to box under Cus D'Amato. So hope that answers some of the questions about the big punch. Oh, that's the daughter. Okay.
Did you want to end it?
Yeah, can we? Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining in. And you guys have a great one. We'll talk soon.
I don't know, on doing a live broadcast on YouTube with Yogi. Yogi myself. Daryl left, so I'll just finish up. What? Huh? Yeah. I'm done what? Yeah. We just did the Yogi.